Hey guys, what's going on? We're back with another Enhancement Shaman solo shuffle video, and this time we got something really weird. We have three Shadow Priests. Um, I've never seen a triple stack before. I've seen a double stack, but never the entirety of solo shuffle have I ever seen a triple stack of the same DPS. It really weirded me out. But anyways, we are playing Stormbringer with full mastery. So that means my Tempest are gonna hit hard. But anyways, let's get into it. So obviously, it's me and a Shadow Priest the entirety of this setup. Um, what I noticed is swapping is key for this because we don't have a primary Mortal Strike and fighting both a Resto Druid and a Mistweaver Monk, swapping is going to be very key here. So I have to be very careful on what I interrupt and what I swap to and where I go. Interrupting Shadow is obviously going to be my priority, thanks to Seasoned Winds. If I'm actually running that, I don't remember. But, anyways, interrupting their damage is always going to be somewhat of a priority in this setup. Now, I want to keep an eye on both the monk and the other shadow priest, but typically we want to do swaps between the healer and one DPS. So that's why you can see I'm mostly focused on this one shadow priest, and then later on we'll get to swapping a bit more. But you can see the monk for some reason is stacked on top of the shadow priest. So I go ahead and swap while my shadow priest beats up another guy and he's doing a lot of damage. And then I have a quick little combo here setting it up. He runs away, so I quickly just hit him, lasso, kind of stop him. It gives my Shadow Priest a chance to put pressure on somebody. And then you can see he had to bubble one of the Shadow Priests, and then the other one's half HP, and now they're all half HP. So we're doing a pretty good job here getting the pressure all around. So now I see him go in for the fear, so I quickly go ahead and swap to the priority target, which is back to the Shadow Priest. And then I see the monk kind of sitting on top of us. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to swap to him, interrupt. We get feared, which is quite unfortunate, and I didn't have anything. So I drop a tremor just in case we get double feared, right? He's got his magic dispel thingy up. Can't remember what it's called, but I'm just going to continue sitting on him and getting the damage out. So you can see I'm putting a lot of pressure. I see my druid come up. I let go of lasso. He instantly pops a bash, and we get him down. So it was great. Now we had the Mistweaver on our team. I still with the same Shadow Priest. Keep that in mind, but I guess it doesn't really matter. So here I am being very cautious with entering because it is terrifying going into double Shadow Priest because they are a very powerful class. I think everybody can agree. So we're against the Resto Druid here. So I think everybody can agree. Resto Druids are very bad at split healing, but very good at solo healing, if that makes sense. So I want to put more emphasis on spread pressure than I did in the last round. So you can see I'm putting pressure onto the Resto Druid here. Boom, he's running off as well. I can see the hots have faded off of the DPS, so now it's time to swap back. And you can just see that the Druid is somewhat struggling to get the hots back off. And then I see him go in for a clone, so I drop a cap totem, try to stop the clone, but I end up screwing it up. Um, yeah, what a surprise, eh? I screw up a mechanic. Whoa. Um, just not something new. But you can see the druid was going in for a little bit of aggression, so I go ahead and swap to him for a second. He backs off once again, and then I swap to another shadow priest, just getting some more pressure off. But I noticed that I do have Doomwinds coming up, but I don't have Primordial Storm to combo with it, so I'm going to hold off. And then he pops a Siphon, so I quickly swap to that, making sure it's Gonzo, because that is going to be one of the dangers. And then I get a lucky tier set proc here, which gave us a quite the good amount of pressure. And then I see the druid kind of in the open, so I go ahead, quickly swap to him. Boom, done. It was great. It was great. It was a really good swap by the Shadow Priest with us. So we saw that opening, we took it, and slammed him. So here, both me and the Shadow Priest did not realize our Resto Druid was AFK, because if we had, we would have waited. But as you can see, I still have not noticed, and we go down. He started moving at the last second, but it is what it is. He obviously got distracted by something, or something had happened, so it is quite unfortunate. So now we are on with the Mistweaver. So same type of plan as last time, where it's a lot of swapping around, right? We gotta be careful on what we do. Then I see the Siphon. I can't kill it, so I'm like, okay, screw this. I'm gonna go LOS and wait for the Siphon to fade off, and it's gone now. So I'm gonna start reconnecting here, getting a bit of damage, blowing up. You can see I noticed that one priest had a bunch of hots, quickly swapped to the other priest, make him put some hots onto him, and you can see our damage. We are doing a solid amount of damage to these guys. So now I see the druid, it has no hots on him, but he's starting to fill up. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna swap to him for a second. We get nothing, but the hots are starting to fall off the DPS. So I'm like, okay, time to swap back. Let's get some more pressure going. See what we can fish out of these guys, right? So we're sitting here, and then I see the druid has nature swiftness, so I go ahead and purge in it. It seems like I was able to take that off, which is great. Um, but there was another siphoned up, and I think the Shadow Priest actually brought it down. I actually missed interrupt on the clone, I think. Well, I gave him precog, which really sucked. I got a nice little ascendance proc, which actually baited out a silence from one of the priests, which was great. And then I noticed our team is definitely falling, which sucks. So I go ahead and burrow, which gives us a little bit of, gives our healer a bit of time to survive, right? Top us up. And so we're kind of able to restabilize a little bit. We're able to slowly restabilize. And then I see the druid here right in front of me, so I go ahead and connect. Don't really get much, but now I'm kind of scared, so I'm going to go ahead, back off, get LOS. And we just got 30 seconds until Ascendance comes back up, so we just got to survive a little bit. Go ahead and lasso. I see the priest come in, so I quickly drop Tremor Totem before he fears, because it was kind of an obvious fear that was about to happen. So I go ahead, kill the Siphon, boom. And now we got about 15 seconds until we can pop off again, right? But there's a high chance they have dispersion. So I go ahead, get back in, connect, pop my defensive, because I know they're just gonna rail me, which sucks. But we're gonna try and get everything. We got 15 seconds. All we gotta do is survive for 15 seconds, and then we can probably get some serious damage out. So the monk's doing a great job keeping me alive. I have nothing left now. I'm half HP, and it just boom, gonzo. It was crazy the amount of damage they did that fast from a Shadow Priest. Unfortunately, we fell over. But now we're back with another Shadow Priest. Who would have guessed, eh? 3 Shadow Priests, and I get 3 Shadow Priests in a row. Wow. So our goal here, same as always, swaps, swaps, swaps. So you can see my Shadow Priest is playing a bit more aggressive in this scenario, so which is kind of good for me, because it makes him more of a target than myself, because yeah, it's a bit scary being the target, I'm not gonna lie. So I noticed a beam, which is the Siphon beam. I don't kill it right away, which is a real fault of mine, but it definitely you know, we it definitely did some damage to me and scared our druid. So I haven't popped yet, so I go ahead, jump after the monk, who is kind of running away. So I go ahead and pop things, boom, and then we start blowing up on the monk. So there's Bubble, which is great. And I go ahead and Trinket of Fear, because yeah, the fears suck. So he pops Shadow Meld, which, by the way, is really, really annoying. So I'm connected, and then I know the monk's bubble is kind of falling off, so I go ahead and reconnect to him, because I feel like he's going to be the easiest target out of all these. And then I see the silence and Siphon, so I'm like, okay, Priest is with me on this target. We just got to do this and try and get him down. He pops Revival, which works out for us, because we're both aggressive magic users, right? Majority of Enhancement's damage is magic. So I see we are taking a lot of damage, but the druid is doing a pretty good job at keeping me stabilized. So I go ahead and drop Burrow, so that way his hots can tick me up and heal me off. So now I'm reconnected onto one of the Shadow Priests, because he's kind of overextending. So I go ahead, knock him behind a wall. That puts him in a bad spot. Get a quick little proc from a tier set, which kind of, I think, scared the priest as well. So that was great. But we still have about 50 seconds until our ascendance, so we don't really have, you know, a optimal win scenario here. We still got a ways to go until that happens. So I see him pop Crackling Jade, so I go ahead and interrupt that right away, although it was halfway through the cast before I interrupted it. because I suck. Um, but then I see the Siphene, and then I see the priest really push onto our Resto Druid. So I jump to him and I back off. I just gotta get behind this wall for a second and give my Resto Druid dots a second, which there we go. But the priest actually did a huge fear. I think it was a double or triple fear, which was great. Then I see the Cyclone go off on the monk. So I quickly swap back to him, and you can see we are hanging on by a thread here, right? But the druid is doing a good job swapping his clones around while simultaneously keeping us alive just enough. And I got Ascendants coming up here, so I'm going to rock that right away. I'm not even going to wait for Doom Winds. I'm just going to send it, screw it. So I start popping, and you can see here I should have known to drop a Tremor Totem, but I didn't. I was more focused on DPS. So I get feared fully, which really sucks. And I'm thinking, oh man, please dispel me, please. But unfortunately, we don't get a dispel. But I pop Doom Winds, nice little Tempest into a combo, and we just thankfully bring down one of the Shadow Priests. This is probably one of the most stressful matches, but honestly, it's the weirdest thing ever fighting 3 Shadow Priests. It was crazy. But anyways, now we had the Monk on our team. But same plan, right? Lots of swaps, and that's the way we find we win. So these Shadow Priests are playing extremely aggressive, trying to push onto our Monk a little bit, and they're trying to silence us all over the place. So I preemptively dropped Tremor because I thought they were going to go in for some pretty big fears, but thankfully they did, but my tremor was still useful because I was able to dispel myself. So then I see the druid. He's in tree form, but I see him a bit low from our shadow priest who's doing a number on him. So I go ahead, quickly swap, and you can see him. He topped himself off pretty darn fast. But then I see this shadow priest in a really bad position, which was great. So I tried to capitalize on that, but get CC'd right away. So it's like, man, I just want to beat somebody up. But I get a nice little double cap totem here, stunning them. They got a fear on us, but that's okay. They're stunned. So no gained, nothing gained, nothing lost, right? So now both DPS are actually stacked on each other, which is good for me because I do pretty decent cleave damage when things are together, but not so much when they're spread out. So there's the Siphene again, quickly swapping to that, struggling to kill it because I didn't get any procs. Our monk goes in for some CC on the druid, who actually causes him to trinket, which is great. Then I see the fear go off on that shadow priest, so I quickly swap off because I don't want to break it, which then he gets dispelled. And then I kind of see it. I see a slight opening on this druid, so I connect to him, trying to do as much damage as possible. I get rooted, so I quickly run back, trying to get to my Mistweaver, so that way I'm not, in danger, and he doesn't have to go into an awkward position to save me. So here, we're kind of in a weird spot. I got 30 seconds. I don't really have any damage, and I have 1 defensive left, which is useful, but we're in a bit of danger. So our priest does a really nice job getting a triple fear, which allows us to do a quick little setup. And then he launches a Siphene onto the Resto Druid, which is good. He's putting pressure on the Resto Druid and scaring him. So I see the Shadow Priest kind of doing a number on our Mistweaver. So I connect to him, but I see the Druid. He's almost over. And then I'm like, ooh, he can get him. But unfortunately, we aren't able to connect. And I get rooted off into Narnia because, I suck. I really shouldn't have ran after that. I should have been DPSing another target. So I go ahead, help with a little bit of healing surges, see a Siphene, jump at it, see the Druid trying to go for clones, but I got everything rolling here. So I got big damage. I see the Druid, and I'm going to capitalize on that. I'm like, you're going down, buddy. There's no match. And I chase him down, and we get a 4-2 with 3 Shadow Priests. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Laters!